Welcome to Indie Film Podcast. I'm Victoria.
And I am Chuck. For the month of October, we're going to be talking about how horror films have influenced our micro-budget indie projects. To start off for this week, we're talking about scripts specifically. And Victoria, I have two questions for you. Okay. Number one, what are 12 inherently compelling situations that you've used from horror films in your own scripts? And number two, who is this week's sponsor?
This week's episode is brought to you by Indie Film Podcast Reviews. We're very excited to announce that all of you who have been reaching out asking us how we can talk about your film or how you can get your film featured on the podcast or our website, we now have a way for you to do that. And we're so excited to get to watch your films. So if you go to indiefilmpodcast.com/submit, or you can go to indiefilmpodcast.com and click the Get Featured button from the main menu, and you'll see all the details on different offerings. Whether you want a written review, a video review, social media, whatever fits for your indie film and getting your indie film a little bit of promotion.
Nice. I'm excited about that.
I am too. I'm excited to watch all the films from all the people who watch us all the time.
Yes, we watched a few of them and they're great. So yeah. I'm super excited about that. And I'm also excited to talk about scripting.
Yeah.
And inherently
compelling situations.
Yes. And are we going to talk about 12 of them? I want to point out that a twist is not inherently compelling. To show an example of that, we actually only have 10 that we're going to talk about today, and that was not compelling at all. Just take that, M. Night Shyamalan. But do you want to list the? Yeah. Do you want to go ahead and read the list off, and then we're going to talk about some of the things that we've tried and failed at, and some things that have worked well, especially in the horror genre.
Yes. So the top 10 inherently compelling situations that you can use to inspire your indie films are a character being chased, an argument between lovers, a character stealing something, a character spying on someone, a character trying to start a fire or destroy something, a character dying, a character getting kidnapped, a character getting physically trapped, a character getting drunk, or a character on trial.
I like it. Those are good starting off points.
They are.
And the very first one I want to say, a character being chased. For a lower gentry film, we had myself as an actor being chased by somebody with a gun in a short film, and I got made fun of endlessly for the sprinting that I did in that, because I am a barefoot runner. I'm one of those pretentious people where I don't have thick soles, and so they were making fun of the fact that I looked like my back was too straight as I was sprinting away. And I'm like, well, that's actually correct form for me, because you want to land on the balls of your feet. And so if you go to Lower Gentry Studios' YouTube channel, you can see Canyon County, the short film, which was before our web series, and I was sprinting in that. It's not the best quality. It was shot on like a $200 soccer mom cam. So, but it was, we tried to make that inherently interesting. We didn't quite execute it, because it's more than just having the scenario. It's about the execution.
It is. And I will say, if it makes you feel any better, in the Pluck, Rise of the Tweezers short film that I made about a bunch of tweezers trying to kill and attack people, we had a character trying to run and get away from them and trying to get into his car, which was actually my car, and I was the stunt driver for it. Mm-hmm. But we made it look like there were tweezers taped to the steering wheel, so they were driving away with it.
Nice.
And so as I was supposed to be speeding away, I then used my blinker and braked before turning.
Well, that's good.
Because I was unwilling to do illegal stunt driving for this film.
So I do want to point out that is very dangerous.
Yeah.
And we're going to be talking a little bit more about that this month, as far as like making sure you're doing the right thing on your horror film sets as far as safety is concerned.
Yes.
But the driving thing, always be super careful for that, unless you have the budget to have things closed off and then you have like a stunt driver. But I do want to point out that in Idaho, when we did shoot that Canyon County short film, we just called the police station before we started filming, and we said, hey, we're going to have somebody running around this neighborhood wielding a gun.
So you know.
And just so you know, it's not nobody's
it's not a real
robbed.
gun.
Yeah.
Everything's fine.
And so the police station just said, oh, sure, you're fine. But we did put notices on everybody's doors so that they knew what was happening as well. But that was how easy it was back in the day to be able to just get a shot of somebody taking shots at people. But obviously, like, we inserted the gunshots in post and the flashes and all that stuff.
Yeah, but it's warning your neighbors with little like stuff on there. That was really smart. I definitely did not do that for one of our horror films where we were filming somebody screaming bloody murder because she's been kidnapped and is now being tortured.
Oh.
So I did call the police department and say, hey, just so you know, there's going to be a woman screaming from my shed for a few hours tonight, screaming, help me. Oh, God, I'm dying. Please help me. Things to that effect. And yeah, they were like, oh, that's no problem at all. As long as you're done by, like 10 p.m. noise ordinances and all that, then that's fine. We don't care. But warning my neighbors that was going to happen would have been nice. I should have done that.
Yes.
Sorry, neighbors.
Yeah, you want to make sure that everybody is aware of what's going on so the police don't get a bunch of calls, which it's not complete Wild West here in Idaho as far as shooting films in public. They just changed it recently. So the city of Boise has a filming permit process now. And it was because of one of those situations where the police were called, and I don't know all the details and I don't want to get into it too much. But so just if you are thinking about filming in Idaho, you can't just come in and call the police station and do whatever the heck you want. Although there probably still are some counties and some cities where you can.
Yeah, you just got to get outside Boise city limits and then you can do whatever you want. No,
basically.
This is definitely advice you should trust and follow.
Yeah.
For sure.
So inherently interesting scene, being chased.
Yes.
That's a great one. Obviously,
and you have a good example.
The Shining is one of my favorites, right at the end, going through the maze.
Yep. Very classic. I will say, I think this one is a pretty common one in horror films, especially some films that I feel like did it really well. Halloween, obviously.
Yeah,
right?
classic.
Very classic. Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It Follows is definitely one of my favorites because it's this.
You came up with that one, and I don't know why I didn't think about it because that's one of my favorite horror movies as well, and it's literally just somebody being chased the entire time.
It changes who's being chased, but. Yeah, it was really good. Get Out is another one. The Descent, also one of my favorites. The Descent will forever live in a very special place in my heart. I love that movie so much. So, okay, so we've had. I think my worst experience with filming a chase sequence for sure was not paying attention to the 180 because it was being shot over so many different locations and not keeping track of who's running which direction.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, we're in a completely different space. It shouldn't even matter that much anyway. I'm sure it'll be fine. And then cutting it together, it looks like a Scooby-Doo chase scene in a haunted mansion where people are just popping in and out of random doors. Suddenly, people are being chased by the person they were previously chasing. And it just got very, very confused. So pay attention to the 180 rule in that case.
And you're not alone there because you can look up a video on YouTube that breaks down The Dark Knight and the car chase scene with the Joker coming after the Batmobile.
Yeah.
And if you watch it, you're kind of like, I don't know what's going on here because the truck that he's shooting the bazooka from crashes through the side of this wall. But if you watch the breakdown on YouTube, it's because they keep breaking the 180 rule and you don't know where the car and the Batmobile are in space and you completely lose it. So even Christopher Nolan sometimes doesn't shot list appropriately and misses that stuff.
That does make me feel a little bit better.
Yeah. So check that out if you're interested in learning about the 180 rule. So argument between lovers.
Yes.
That is definitely inherently interesting, I feel like.
It usually is.
Lower Gentry Studios, we made a feature film that was basically about that called We Speak that my brother and I helped a little bit was as far as like the structure of the script. That one turned out well, but our very first film, feature film, Brown Truck, we just completely biffed the argument between lovers because you need to have conflict there.
Yeah. So what about it was biffed then?
The biffing of it was not focusing on it enough.
Oh.
Not having it was more like the character was despondent rather than, dialogue that was actually confrontational.
Okay.
Which you don't need to have because I think Midsummer is a good example of it. Doesn't need to be directly confrontational as long as the audience knows what the point of the argument is. Because in Midsummer, there was the boyfriend is going to Sweden, and he was like, I invited my girlfriend, but she's not coming to like his friends, and then so she ends up going to Sweden.
Yeah.
Even though nobody really wanted her there.
Yeah, but there was also a lot of other conflict in that relationship too.
True.
There were a lot of other things going on. Like what you might expect would happen if your boyfriend is like, I'm going to a foreign country without you. Bye.
Yeah.
There's somebody else there.
That wasn't necessarily direct conflict, but they did address it in kind of like a gaslighting manner, I want to say, which was pretty cool.
Well, I thought, I guess Invisible Man kind of did something similar with that too.
Oh, yes.
Right? Where I guess that's a little bit being chased because that definitely did happen.
This is the more modern Invisible
Oh,
Man.
yeah. I'm sorry. I should mention it was 2020, 2021. It was pretty recent.
There was a version of that was just about gaslighting.
Yeah, it's like the more
wild.
recent one. Yeah. And it was a really well done way of showcasing what gaslighting kind of looks like from the outside. And it was a really well done film. I liked it anyway. But
so make sure if you have lovers in your film, they need to argue.
Yeah.
Figure out some interesting way to do it because it's going to help move things along. And have you ever had a character steal something in one of your films?
Yeah. No, I've had them steal people, but that's the kidnapping one.
Yeah, that's kind of like the
because
you can also steal objects. Which, if you're an indie filmmaker, you've always been tempted when you get into one of those camera shops. No, I'm just kidding.
That we don't have here in Idaho anymore.
Yeah, exactly. There's no camera shops that got wiped out from all the theft.
I did hear another one's coming.
Yes, and I'm not going to say their name until they pay for a sponsorship with us, though.
Oh, I'm not going to say their name until it's open because I don't want to like curse anything.
That too.
I'm a little superstitious about it.
Hopefully,
because aren't they moving into one of the old camera shop buildings?
Yeah, hopefully it's not cursed, and hopefully they offer gear rentals because that would be nice.
That would be so good.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, what about a character stealing something? What are some famous examples?
The one that I saw recently, again, I rewatched Psycho, and I thought that was really cool because the beginning of the movie was the premise that the main character had stolen just a big chunk of cash.
$40,000.
$40K. That's what it was.
$40K.
I don't remember. I just remember in like today's money, it's like $400 billion. But back in 1959, like 40,000
Didn't she end up
could buy you like an entire suburban neighborhood.
Yeah, I was like, because she ended up like trading in her car and like trade in her car and get a new one. It was only like 700, 500,
yeah, it was
700,
like
something
a
like
couple
that.
$100.
Yeah, and I was like,
dang.
wow.
But yeah, she was only making like 50 cents an hour or something probably. I don't know what minimum wage was back then.
I don't know. And she was a female, so it was probably even worse.
Yeah, whatever 72% of 50 cents is.
Oh, I'm sure that the wage gap was wider back then.
Could have been.
I don't think it was 72 cents on the dollar then. Technically, it's 82 cents on the dollar now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely dated as far as women's rights are concerned. In that.
A little bit.
Because the whole romantic subplot is whether or not she's going to marry a guy that has already been married and had a divorce already.
So he's stuck
was like
paying
ooh, this
money
is
stuff. Yeah, that's so taboo.
Mm-hmm.
I have Drag Me to Hell.
Yeah.
And Don't Breathe.
Okay.
I thought Don't Breathe was kind of cool because that's like a break-in that goes real awry real fast.
I have not seen Don't Breathe.
I actually would not recommend it.
I saw the length of it and I'm like, I think I'm going to need to take a breath in 90 minutes. Sorry, that was
a really bad joke.
Yeah, I try.
Don't Breathe. And now I'm like stuck doubting myself here and I'm trying to quickly go through my notes and see if this was still the right one because Don't Breathe in my mind. Yeah, I'm not mixing them up. I get Don't Breathe and A Quiet Place mixed up sometimes.
Oh, okay.
Which is probably not great.
Yeah.
But Don't Breathe, the end is absolutely awful. It's horrifying. It's really disgusting and it's super triggering. I just don't recommend that movie to anybody.
Oh, good to know.
It was an interesting concept, but I don't recommend that movie to anyone.
I finally watched Paranormal Activity.
Oh, yeah.
Recently. That movie was so bad. I understand that it was unique for the time.
It was very unique. It was a very different take on that style.
Good gravy. They didn't even have a story.
They tried.
And I understand, like, it's unique for the time, but I don't even think if you showed it to somebody now that's into horror movies, that's a teenager, and you show them that film, I would just wonder what they would think. Because first of all, it would be like, well, why is he carrying around a giant camera? And two, why does that giant camera look so crappy? And then there's also like three, like, okay, so it's daytime, they have a conversation, and then it's nighttime, and we hear this weird rising sound effect, and then like a door opens, and there's the first 30 minutes of the movie, I guess.
That's your spook.
Oh my gosh. All right, but
I think
don't do that. Don't do that thing where you don't have any plot or any interesting situation. Inherently interesting. Yes.
You need something that is inherently interesting, and no, your house making weird noises is not that by itself.
Yeah, it's good to connect these scenes through with a plot line so that it's like we spoke earlier. This is actually like a Trey Parker and Matt Stone quote, is like, you want to have therefore but in between your story.
Instead of yes and.
Instead of and then.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I go to improv. Yes and.
Yes and. Yes and. Well, yeah, you don't want to do that on a movie.
No, I guess you don't want to do either.
And then they wake up in the morning and then they keep talking and they review the footage from last night and see the door open. And then they go to bed and then they turn the camera on. That's Paranormal Activity right there. Just saved you an hour and a half.
I feel like some of the sequels start trying to tie in more of an actual story of like the lore of the house and the family line.
Nice.
And there's like a curse on the family. I'm pretty sure that's the Paranormal Activity series, but I guess anybody who's watching can definitely correct me if I'm mixing that up.
Just let us know in the comments, and then you can also let us know what other forms of self-torture you're into, I guess.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
All right. Character spying on another character.
Yes. Inherently interesting.
Inherently interesting.
Because you, as the audience member, are like, oh, what a creeper.
You're either thinking, what a creeper, or you're thinking, well, what's so interesting? Why do they want to spy? What's out there?
Oh, that's true.
Right? So it can build intrigue from either side.
Yeah.
So
I've never done a spying on somebody else film. I've never worked on one of those in like the indie film realm. But I do, as far as like, the first thing, again, comes into my mind because I watched it recently, Psycho, when he's looking through he has a view of the bathroom before the shower murder scene.
Yes.
And so he was spying.
Yes, he was spying on the person in there.
Yeah.
There are some other ones. Well, Paranormal Activity, I feel like, is kind of just voyeurism because you're like just watching the security footage. So it kind of feels like just spying on it, but
That's
you
true.
as the viewer are spying on them. So that one's...
They're kind of openly sharing that, though, too. So that feels... it's more like, like modern day, like, selfie syndrome.
It's a little more voyeurism and a little less spying.
Yeah,
which it is similar, but just different enough. Mm-hmm. Where one just feels kind of creepy and weird and one feels inherently compelling.
But if you're into indie filmmaking, the voyeurism films are definitely going to make you more money than just the spying ones, I would imagine. Just a guess. Not that I've done either, but...
But you want to talk about bang for your buck, which I'm pretty sure is where that phrase came from, right?
Yeah,
like it had to be, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, okay. That's enough of that. Okay, so then also The Ring.
Okay.
And Barbarian.
Nice.
And I was going to throw this out there because I was so surprised that you mentioned Psycho for Hitchcock. And I was like, why wouldn't you go with Rear Window?
True. Rear Window is
just a dude spying on people.
Yeah. But it's not really a horror movie, but I guess it kind of is. It's a thriller.
It's a suspense thriller.
Yeah.
So.
True. I guess you can kind of put that as a subcategory of horror because it puts people on edge.
Yeah.
I mean, and Rear Window does do a good job of that.
They did. They really did.
Super uncomfortable.
It's so uncomfortable.
It works still to this day. Hitchcock was great when it comes to that stuff. And
He knows what to do.
You've leveraged Hitchcock yourself.
Yeah.
For the film Dive.
Just ripped him off for Dive, basically. The goal, his whole...
You leveraged. I don't think there was an actual ripoff, but he does have a quote that you used as inspiration.
Yeah.
Which was an inherently interesting situation.
Dramatic irony is an inherently suspenseful situation, where as long as the audience knows something that your character doesn't, or characters don't, then you can make anything really intense really fast.
Yeah, and his example was if the audience knows there's a bomb underneath the table that's set to explode,
but the two people having lunch at said table don't know it,
then the audience is going to be engaged no matter how ridiculous the conversation is. It can be about anything.
Exactly.
And you've been doing well with the film.
The film's doing well. It will be at the Chicago Horror Film Festival this weekend.
Yes. Well, actually, we're going this weekend, but this is pre-recorded. So
you're right. So it will have just played at the Chicago Horror Film Festival.
But we're excited to go to it. So, yes, inherently interesting. It is like the spying thing. I got kind of sidetracked here. Destroying.
Starting
property.
A fire or destroying something. You have an example?
I do have an example. And that was the same one where I was being chased, where we had a character with a gun shooting shooting at the car.
I meant your famous example, to be fair.
Oh, my famous example.
But I will take.
Yeah, I mean, I've done it.
Like,
I've done it very badly before, like in indie films. But yeah, what did I write down here on that one? Midsummer finale. Duh.
Yeah, Midsummer finale.
Midsummer
really
was
nicely.
one of my favorite movies.
Midsummer
ever.
was delightful. It's another one of those that it's like I don't know if you could call that an outright horror film because so much of it feels so not horror and so not typical horror. But I really liked that movie.
Likewise.
Mine were Frankenstein, right?
Okay.
Angry Mob
Nice.
usually has the
I've seen Young Frankenstein.
pitchforks.
That's
I
the
think
only Mary
Young
Shelley adaptation I've actually seen. The book is fantastic.
Oh, the book is so good. But doesn't Young Frankenstein even still have like?
Oh yeah, they're trying to burn down.
Yeah, they've still got the fire, like the torch.
I think he was using the
pitchforks.
fire picks while he was doing the putting on the Ritz dance number.
Yeah. Okay.
Brilliant.
Also, Carrie.
Oh, clearly, yeah.
Yeah, that one felt real good, and also such a good for her moment, which is another one of my favorite genres. And then The Mist,
Okay.
where the military kind of has to come in and shut everything down at the end.
Okay. You've seen about 4,000 times more horror movies than I've seen. And you're sticking to the main ones, but usually these horror movies I watch once.
Yeah.
And then I kind of forget about them except for Midsommar.
Yeah. Well, because the
Psycho.
good ones stick with you, which is why they're important to call out, right?
Yeah.
It's what made it stick with you so much.
Exactly.
But I also kind of feel like Misery fits in there.
Mm.
And I know that's a bit of a stretch,
Yeah.
but
How are you shoehorning that one in there?
because the author, I can't remember his name.
Stephen King?
No. No, the character that Stephen King based on himself in that
the
like,
character's name. Yeah, I don't remember.
it's not Arthur, but whatever it is. He's pretty desperate to get out of the house.
Yeah.
And is trying his best to like start breaking things and just get the hell out of there. But it's a little bit of a stretch, but
Well, that's a good example of, I'm going to jump around here then, because we have Kidnapping on there.
oh yeah. Well, duh, Misery is definitely kidnapping.
That's definitely about kidnapping.
But such surreptitious kidnapping, right? Like he doesn't even realize he's actually been kidnapped for at least a day or two.
Yeah.
That's so well done. He
It's like
just thinks he's under
just
care.
being taken care of.
Yeah.
And Stockholm Syndrome never quite sets in.
No, not the
Which
way
is
that
a
you
bummer.
hoped it would.
Yeah, that's why I liked Midsummer. It's like that Stockholm.
Yeah.
But it was in Norway, not Sweden. Oh, no, it was in Sweden.
I don't remember. I
Yeah,
know it was somewhere Nordic.
It was in Sweden.
Okay.
Yeah, so Stockholm Syndrome does apply.
That is
I think that's-
actually the most apropos example of it. Yeah.
Except they were north of Stockholm, because Stockholm has night in the summertime because it's farther south.
Oh.
But if you go way up north in Sweden, I would imagine, just because of the
It's far up there.
latitude.
Yeah. Okay.
It's a movie about latitude. But
Okay.
I've done a short film. It was for a 48-hour film festival that was about a kidnapping, and it was a sci-fi, and it was about a robot. And I don't know if you can find it online anymore. It was called Where There Is Love, There Is Life, and it was a comedy slash sci-fi slash horror. But we just started with given this person is being kidnapped by this robot, and the robot is a murder robot, and it's receiving directions from its operators who are coming over a nebulous speaker system.
Okay.
And that was fun to do with the sound design
Yeah.
on, because I got to make a human sound like a robot with just like drill noises pitched up and down.
Yeah.
And then like heavy footsteps. And we just filmed it like all basically in mediums in the studio.
Yeah, it was all
It was just
mostly,
black
yeah.
backdrop, and so everything was sound design on that one. So that was kind of fun. I was happy with that one, and it did help to have a given like character is kidnapped trying to escape,
Yeah.
and then having the character try to overcome obstacles that consistently fail. and what we learned on that one was that you need to, the more you push it, and we were having a conversation the other day about comedy and how if you continue to like let the joke linger for a really long time, like the audience gets quiet and then it gets funny again.
Yeah, the seagull. You gotta wait for the if you're That is a very long example that I will not go into in depth on this podcast, especially because it's a podcast and involves a lot of like flapping your arms as if you were a bird, and that will not play well for audio-only audiences. But the idea was laughter always comes in waves, and you just got to ride it out and wait for that next wave because it will come. You will get that third one for that final payoff, but sometimes you're going to feel like an idiot standing up in front of a bunch of people flapping your arms like a bird for a long time.
Yeah. And if you're having somebody try to escape from something, the same rules apply, where if you set the objective in front of them and you let the audience believe that this is going to be the way that they escape, and then that doesn't work out,
then that is even more stressful.
Yeah. And so I think on the short film in 6 minutes, we wanted to have 3 different avenues of escape present itself to this character.
Okay.
And then at the final one, it ended because he didn't actually escape, even though he thought he did. Oh. And so it worked out pretty well. Like, I was happy with it. Obviously, like, you know, it's indie film, low budget, 48 hours. Nothing's going to be perfect. But it's, Kidnapping, inherently interesting.
Kidnapping is inherently interesting. I just remember really screwing up the logistics and practicing the stunt work on having somebody be kidnapped.
Yeah.
Where it was supposed to be a really quick scene where basically you just show a woman getting thrown into a trunk, somebody slamming the door, a car driving away. And we didn't really take into account the logistics of how difficult it is to throw a struggling, moving, live body into a trunk.
So did you hire an actor, or were you just grabbing people off the street for this short film?
I wanted the authenticity.
Oh, nice.
So we were just kidnapping people.
Was this before the show Jackass or after the show Jackass?
Definitely after. No,
nice.
It was very much so a consenting actress.
Good.
A very talented one here locally. Thanks again, Sheila.
Inherently compelling situation. Actually kidnapping somebody.
There we go. There's your inherently compelling situation. Committing an actual crime on film.
Yes.
That is very stressful for everyone involved because you will be
Which
convicted.
includes filming without a permit, because that's technically a crime.
Oh, it is. You're right.
Why is this film inherently interesting? Because we didn't get a filming permit.
We didn't.
That's not inherently interesting. Please don't do that. That sounds like a awful
that
premise.
doesn't sound as exciting as you
Or
want it
maybe
to
you
be.
could make it good. Actually, people could make it good.
Yeah.
If you're creative enough.
People could make that work. Okay. Then next up.
Getting trapped.
Oh, I was going to go back to character dying.
Oh, yeah. We
jumped
that
around.
one.
We jumped around. So character dying.
Yes.
I wanted to throw out like basically any vampire / creature feature where you get to watch them turn, right?
Yeah.
So any vampire film, you're going to usually see a lot of people die.
Yeah.
So I didn't feel the need to go into a bunch of specifics on that one. Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah.
I really like The Witch. I thought that was a really good example of it because and then also I think possession movies as a whole kind of fit into this because they are dead, but then undead, depending on the lore of the possession, I guess. But I liked that a lot. And then I really liked Smile. I don't know if you saw that one.
No, I haven't seen Smile.
Smile's really good. The sequel was fine, but the first one was really good, and I was really into it. And it was, the whole thing is just basically people committing suicide in very different ways because this force is making them. And then, of course, I don't think it's fair to not mention Happy Death Day, which is definitely one of my top absolute favorite horror films of all time. I love Happy Death Day. I think it's incredible. And
I've not seen that one.
This repeat of this woman waking up every day and then she dies and then she wakes up again and she dies. And it's just a matter of trying to figure out why this is happening. And I know that trope has been used quite a few times and it's not earth-shattering or anything like that. I get it. I don't care. The way they executed this was so well done. It was beautiful. So Happy Death Day.
I think it is in the execution, though, because basically a lot of stories have been told, and they've been told since for thousands
what
of
is
years.
it? There are only like X number of actual stories, and everything fits into one of those categories.
Yeah, exactly.
Unless it's really art house.
This is not a formula to actually write a script. We're just talking about hopefully some ideas that we've seen from horror films that will get the juices flowing if you're kind of at a stage where you're stuck on something. And I actually have a bit of trivia that I want to share right now because that's a good point. So I recently rewatched Cabin in the Woods, which is a horror comedy that makes fun of all the horror tropes about cabins and teenagers.
And did it really well.
Yes. And just so you know, Cabin in the Woods writers Drew Goddard and Joss Whedon They wrote the script in 3 days. And I pulled that factoid off of IMDb.
Okay, that's really impressive.
But it was only a first draft. And so I had to do a little bit more digging into that. They did a long weekend retreat for 3 days at a hotel room. And they already had 10 pages for the film done.
Oh, so they had already ideated and begun writing this and then locked themselves into a hotel room for a weekend.
Correct. They had an outline. And then after they did the 3-day retreat, they took that first draft and continued to modify it over several months.
That makes more sense.
Before they got the green light to shooting. So anytime you hear that somebody cranked out a script in like such a short amount of time, I would be a little incredulous about that because usually that means first draft. And a lot of times the drafts could be up in 7, 8, 9, 10. We talked about that on another episode.
They could go so much higher than that.
They could have dozens of drafts and you don't know what the final draft is versus the one that they wrote initially. It is a good idea though, just to crank stuff out.
Just get something on a page.
Yeah, get it done.
Yeah.
Because you can always go back and then use some of those ideas in a later script if you don't use it for the script that you're going to end up shooting. But, crank it out. But no, they did not actually write the final shooting script in 3 days.
What we saw on screen was not what they wrote in 72 hours.
No.
Okay.
But that was just like a little factoid that they had on their IMDb page. So, hey.
Hey.
Thought it was interesting.
On that note then,
yeah,
I think the character getting drunk.
Ooh, yes.
Yeah, Cabin in the Woods I would put it in that one because they do emphasize the trope of like the drunken teenager.
Yes.
Because obviously Evil Dead has some of that too.
Oh,
right?
yeah, for sure.
I actually personally think Cabin Fever did it best.
Okay.
Because it was a much different twist on that stereotypical, we're a bunch of teenagers, we're going to get drunk in the woods. Because for those of you who haven't seen either version of Cabin Fever, they're both identical. They're completely identical. I don't know why they did the remake. Anyway, sorry, personal opinion.
Well, I mean, they did the same thing with Psycho. I'm pretty sure Psycho, the remake, was like shot for shot.
Was it?
If I remember correctly. It was
I don't think I've seen the remake.
Oh, it was really similar.
I don't know if I knew there was a Psycho remake.
Oh, yeah. I think that was in early 2000s. I don't know enough about it, but...
Well, now I'm going to go look that one up because I don't even remember hearing about that.
It was really, really close. It was super, super similar.
Oh.
And so it's just kind of like, we're just going to remake the same movie 40 years later. Good job.
Good job. Well, Cabin Fever was basically the water is contaminated with this really grossly infected dead body.
Yeah.
So everybody who's drinking water is getting infected, and the ones that were just drinking booze, the teenagers that were just partying hard and not drinking any water, were the only ones who had a shot at living.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so I thought that was a really fun twist on it.
Just a little bit of like medieval / early U.S. settlement history for you.
Exactly.
That's why everybody used to drink beer.
It was safer than the water. It was a lot safer than the water.
The water was dangerous.
Yeah. It's not
kill
great.
you.
It's not great. Okay, so then getting physically trapped is the next. Or no, do you have a character getting drunk example before we move on?
Oh, no, I like The Shining.
I do like The Shining.
Because he hints at the fact that he was on the wagon, like he wasn't drinking, and then he has a drink with a ghost. And you're like, well, there isn't even any booze at the hotel, but then he's somehow getting drunk with this ghost. And I just thought that was kind of like a cool scene. That
is a fun...
It wasn't necessarily just him getting drunk, but it was him having even deeper of a mental breakdown than you realized.
Yeah, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
That's a fun little note. Okay, all right. So then physically trapped?
Physically trapped people, yeah, obviously Saw.
Saw is a real, yeah, they were definitely physically trapped.
That's kind of like kidnapped and or trapped, but yeah.
Well, The Descent, also physically trapped in this cave underground.
Yeah.
With all these creepy people-ish things.
Yeah.
Super fun.
Oh, yeah. I haven't seen that one in forever.
I love that one. I keep trying to get my
real...
girlfriends to cosplay that at like horror cons with me. We would just show up covered in blood and in like climbing gear.
Yeah,
It'd be really easy.
Oh, those. Speaking of getting trapped, if you've ever watched those videos of people that do the spelunking, where they climb into those caves, where they put the camera out in front of them and you can see them squeezing their chest through these super tight cavities.
It makes you feel claustrophobic, even though you're sitting in like an office.
Anxiety inducing, for sure. So yeah, just do that for your horror movie.
Very inherently stressful or enticing or whatnot situation. I do want to call out Gerald's game too, though, because that one was kind of funny, but not funny, but a little bit funny, because it's this couple. Have you seen it?
I don't remember if I've seen it or not.
Okay, so couple having problems in their relationship because, of course, there's an argument with a lover.
Yes.
But they both want to fix their relationship. So they're going away to this, like, romantic getaway weekend. And when things are starting to get a little hot and heavy, just a little bit spicy, they, like, have handcuffs and they're, like, handcuffed to each other. And then he dies.
Oh, I have seen that one.
And then she's stuck, handcuffed to this body in bed, like
That's
right
right.
next to him as he's like starting
was
to
a good one.
decompose and everything. I'm like, that was just so messed up. It's so good and kind of funny. Not funny, but anyway.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now with cell phones, that'd be a pretty quick fix.
Yeah.
You just call somebody.
Yeah.
But back in the day, if the hotel line was too far away from you, you'd have to eat your own hand off.
Yeah. You wouldn't be okay.
Yeah. There's just
You'd be
been
okay.
a lot more people not losing their hands since cell phones were invented.
Thanks, cell phones.
Yeah.
Okay. And last character on trial. I could only think of 2 for this one.
Yeah. And I couldn't think of any.
I have the Exorcism of Emily Rose and then the Conjuring's The Devil Made Me Do It,
Oh, nice.
which are both about trials in
Yeah.
their own way. But funny enough, both about how they're on trial for committing this murder, but their defense is that a demon was possessing them and that they can't be held responsible.
Yeah. The crazy or
No, not technically crazy.
possessed. Oh.
Just possessed. Not crazy. Just possessed.
Well, for characters on trial, there have been entire television series dedicated to the fact that a character on trial is inherently
Yeah.
interesting. So,
Well, yeah.
Law and Order.
I love that show.
Yes.
Okay. Those are our 10, not 12 inherently compelling situations specifically drawn from horror films, but obviously can easily be repurposed to any other film.
Yeah.
Like, for example, Getting Trapped, 127 hours,
Yes.
kind of a thriller, but I don't think I would call that a horror film.
No. These are universally usable tropes that, we actually came up with quite a few of them at Lower Gentry Studios. It seems like these ones are a little bit more horror focused. But if you watch films, and you could probably just talk to AI at this juncture and they can give you like a list of things. If you're stuck on your writing process, go watch another movie, and maybe if you see, just kind of pay attention to the surroundings, the environment, and the characterization in those scenes that you feel yourself gravitate towards, and then maybe figure out a way to get your own story arc to lead into one of those situations.
Yeah.
And hopefully it's a situation that you can film too.
That's even better when
Yeah.
it's also practical.
Yeah. Like a character stuck in an airplane might be tricky if you're on a very low budget.
If you're on a very low budget and you aren't willing to sneak your camera onto a plane.
Yeah. Tricky stuff.
Yeah.
All right. Well, shall we end with a succinct farewell?
I think so.
Excellent. Goodbye.
Bye.